Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. This is Michael Menino with Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professional, financial, and successful people who share their experience and tips with you. And today we have Peter Zhu from the beautiful, beautiful state of Florida in Naples. Peter, could you do me a favor and just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
Oh, sure. Michael, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name
Thank
is
you.
Peter Zhu. I basically, found this company called the Focus KPI back almost 15 years ago, helping, large companies dealing with large quantities of data and extract the meaning out of the data, helping, business like marketing, sales, operations to really, improve the efficiency, and productivity for the company. So in the past 4 or 5 years, in recent years, we very much invest a lot of the energy and effort on the AI and really escalate lots of this accelerate lots of the business in sales and marketing. So we really helping companies like Walmart, Sam's Club, CVS, and LinkedIn. All of those big names. We build really killer teams, lots of these top engineers, much capable of deliver high quality work, very fast and cost effective. So we're very proud that we can add the value to business large and small, and hopefully we share some of the experience with the people here.
Nice. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And those are some really big names that you're working with, man. That is amazing. That took, you said 15 years to get that business, or?
Yes, absolutely. So my background, actually from very, science, statistics, math, and computers. And so I, had this, really passion, really dive into the data. That's why early days, when I was, school, my professor always called me, data junkie, because I really want to get a sense out of the data, and did a lot of the simulation, game theory. It's just so much fun. And then when I first came to US about 25 years ago, and out of undergrad from China, and went to school, believe it or not, in Arkansas, and in the middle of nowhere. The reason, because I, didn't have the money, and that's the only school offering me the scholarship. So
Nice.
got into, this statistical program, did a lot of data crunching, gained a lot of experience, and came out, did the work, for, some of the corporate, experience. And obviously, and I need to get my visa, converted to working visa, green card. And about 6, 7 years ago, I was so lucky and so honored, blessed, became U.S. citizen. So this is the journey.
Nice.
I feel so.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you. I
awesome.
feel unbelievable journey. I feel so proud. Also, I feel more proud, like I said, be able to participate in this, greatest economy, and be able to help, companies large and small. This is where I feel this. I always believe, because of my personal experience, I always believe this is the strongest economy, because company owners, large and small, is so much into innovation, always seeking better ways to improve their business. I don't believe anyone else in the whole world can compete with companies in US. That's just my belief.
The facts speak for themselves. We have the highest GDP in the world, and
Yeah.
our creativity.
Mhm.
I didn't know how important our creativity. Like when America has a problem, they
Yeah.
solve it
Yeah.
immediately.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have a bunch of great people. Like you came into another. What country did you come
Mhm.
from, if you don't mind me asking?
China. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. Well, how
Yeah.
this is more personal than anything else. How does
Yeah.
China compare to the USA?
Totally different. Politically, completely different countries. even though I believe people on both sides, it's pretty much similar, meaning
Yes.
that both, yeah, family-wise, yeah, both, kind of,
Love their
side of,
families and
exactly,
take
of the
care of their
families,
kids. Yeah.
yeah, they really, yeah, value family, friendship, obviously, yeah, we, grow up in very isolated, environment. And that's why when I first came to US, I found this is the place you don't, want to go anywhere else because you have all the freedom, right? You want to do whatever you want. This is, like I said, the amazing experience that you actually, can do with no limit. You can just try everything, even you fail 100 times,
Yeah.
you still, yeah. This is what I, found is amazing because when I grow up in a family, regardless of how hard you try, relatively how good you are, yeah, my parents never really say, you know, this is just the culture. It's not like my parents are that bad. It's just you can always do better, right?
Yes.
But here, every time I remember when I first came here, I couldn't speak much English. My professor always say, "You did great. Solve the problems," and even give me the chance to be like a tutor or research assistant, to really encouraging me to interact with the students, to the professors, and even to some of the internship opportunities. This is where I found this is the culture you always get, this kind
Yes.
of encouragement. This is how I feel like, hey, if I have this chance, I think it should, something worth trying, right? So yeah, it took me 15 years. Even today, I still consider our company relatively small. We'll have about 50 engineers, data scientists, but we've been around for 15 years, and yeah, we get a chance to grow. So I'm pretty hopeful. Someday we become some company be recognized. Yeah, yeah.
You will. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Just
you,
keep doing what you're doing. It's really time. Once you
thank
do
you,
a good job,
Michael.
just keep going. You get time. And do me a favor, share with the audience. You said something off camera that you recently, in the last 6 years, became IA.
Yeah, U.S. citizen. I basically, yeah, if you know how, go through this whole journey, thank you. First, you have to, get quote unquote the working visa, like a
Mhm.
H-1B, and then, after few years, then you can, apply for a permanent residence. We call it the green card. So
Right.
after, 5 years, become a permanent residence, you're eligible to, yeah, uh, apply, for naturalization to, yeah, become a citizen.
Well, congratulations. It's an honor to have you in this country. We love
Thank
intelligent
you.
people
Oh
coming
my
over,
gosh.
and that's what America is, a bunch of people coming together to do something greater than themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I so much treasure, this belief in this, country. That's why I feel like if you look in all the things happening, regardless, left and right, but I say the top priority, at least from my perspective, is to protect, this system any way we can, because
It's the
I've been
best in the
through,
world.
exactly, I've been through. That's why you're asking, where I came from, lots of the people here in America probably never, even they've been to China, they never really experienced deeper experience how different, right? That society, in terms of, that system. So that's how I feel like, this is the system that, you feel like you know, I think, represent the hope, for the whole human being. So that's why
I
I always just say, without the US, the whole world will be totally, I mean, I could be very pessimistic, will be a total mess.
it is the beacon of light for freedom. It really
Exactly.
freedom and ingenuity and the
Yeah,
American dream. The American dream is anybody can make it here, and you are a perfect example. And we love having people
absolutely.
you. We love me and my son call it the immigrant advantage because you
Yeah,
saw what other countries are doing wrong, and when you come to America, you're like, I've got to
yeah,
do this the right way because it's so much
absolutely.
better.
Yeah, this is how I always believe here in America. if you work hard and if wanting to take a little risk, you always get a reward. I always just say, even deliver pizza and work in the restaurant, you can make a decent living. If you
Hmm.
go to college, get a decent job. If you stretch myself, like myself, try to take a little risk, and with that skill set, you put some offer and see if you can compete. Hey, you never know, right? Even you fail, like I said, 10 times, all you need is just win one time, right? So.
But see, there's a certain system, like you said, the systems of China and the systems of here are totally different. Like in
Mhm.
America, if you fail and you fail, you fail, you put a bunch of money into a program and it
Mhm.
fails, you can file bankruptcy, which protects
Mhm.
you from people
Mhm.
coming after you, right?
Right.
So you could
Yeah.
fail over and over and over again. Like you said, all you need to do
Right.
is hit it one time and then you can
Exactly.
be
Exactly.
successful even after failing. And multiple people that I interview that
Mhm.
have multiple businesses, they say fail and fail a lot, because if you fail you're going to learn
Right.
something and you won't do it again.
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah.
that's absolutely brilliant.
I
Hey,
think it
listen,
probably. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I just
no,
want
no,
to
no,
add,
that's
a comment.
completely
Yeah.
fine, go ahead.
Yeah. In terms of the perception, success or failure, and when I first came here, and because of like I said, the background I came from. And I feel like, everything that actually I feel like you can do, you can, make a living, right? So that's why when I
Hmm.
first came here, even though I got a scholarship, but in summer I still, bought, this used car for $700. Is yeah, I think everything it still runs, and I, basically, deliver pizza for the whole summer, make it close to 3,000. So I just basically, yeah, get I just feel like everything, here, you feel is just like I said, I always thinking you have absolutely nothing to lose, right?
Right.
So if you
Yeah,
have
yeah, because you
this,
file bankruptcy.
yeah, no, not only that, I feel like it because, for example, when I was, doing lots of the data crunching in the beginning, I didn't realize the connection with, that kind of, funding, and also, that, kind of, uh, mechanism and methodology can actually add so much value to the business. Once I understanding that, I know I hit the gold mine. I know this is
Right.
something potentially, yeah, I could do. And then I look around in interestingly enough, many people willing to, do that quote unquote the dirty work, right?
Right.
With this massive data. But if you're
Hmm.
looking when the internet, exploded, there's so much data generated. Then I, say, hey, it's time, to come up. And I knew at that point, even maybe I didn't have that much business, background, but I knew if I had the value, I always can approach some people I knew and say, hey, this is something I offer. And that's how some of my colleagues, former colleagues back in the Staples, and moved to Silicon Valley, and they just couldn't find the people to do the work. This is how I feel like, yeah, it's a time to set up a company, right? Rather than just
Yeah.
doing on my own.
Right. Exactly. Great job too, by the way.
Thank you.
So Peter, there's a lot of companies that do what you do in your business, like
Hmm.
KPI, focus KPI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what sets you apart? What is your secret sauce? What do you do that other people don't?
Very good question.
The 1% does what
Hmm.
the other 99% aren't willing to do. What's that for
Yeah.
you?
I think in what we really differentiate from day one, if you're looking all, the data analytics space, even up to this point, we are starting off as very, very niche. We call it a specialist called the predictive modeling. So we build, very advanced algorithms, from day one to do nothing but, call it classification. I'll give you an example. If you go working for, bank risk management, and people talking about, from large, quantity of 20 million customers, how you identify the highest risk, right? Say 1%, 2%. This is where we actually come in. And we always say, yeah, this is just something we can isolate, probably 5, 10% of the population with the highest risk. So over the time, the model actually validated. right? So in other words, the top 10% of the people identified with the highest risk, the odds for, default, could be 10% versus the second 10%, only like, 2% and 3% and so on and so forth. So the companies actually can focus more on those high risk people. The flip side on the marketing, you want to identify the high potential, high value customers out of hundreds of millions of, prospect database. This is, and again, run through our algorithms, we can identify the most profitable prospect customers. Then the company can really spend the effort and money on them, and later on, tracking and get, huge payoff. So this is what we call, catch the bad guys and select the good guys.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we, from day one, we actually highly specialized in, this predictive modeling. And then we became the expert. And like I said, everywhere we go, and, if you look at lots of the companies, they have a large, amount of marketing budget. So they really see, this ROI being improved by having, this capability. And versus the risk side, by having this capability, can really save, the potential loss, right?
Exactly.
And then, over time, we, continue evolving. Now we're combining today with, that predictive modeling to the machine learning, and then today to the large language models. So we built the whole, this technology into more integrated into, clients' database and also their applications. So this is where, back to your point, the key differentiators, two things. One, obviously, the niche, right? The predictive side. The second thing is deep integration. So in other words, once you integrate, into their whole ecosystem, if you take out, this critical component, the whole ecosystem won't run properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I think, we attach, that's why I'm saying, the whole, because of the deeper integration, I can experience, this US companies is so capable, not just, having the innovation today and do nothing, but they keep innovating. So this is why I feel, the US, companies, are so, in terms of the leadership, their mindset, so, really, driven, into, something we call always say, better. So that's why we call ourselves a KPI, right? Focus, because companies, they, the goals, the, strategies constantly, changing. So we want to make sure we keep our eyes, on companies, end goals. So we can, like I said, we make sure we make ourselves, as relevant as possible.
Nice. Oh, that's great information. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
If somebody's listening to our podcast now, what tips would you give them, and what suggestions would you give them?
I think this is even for myself. I want to share this, kind of experience, and also to everyone here in the audience. Like I said, the company we call it, we really, want to focus, certain area, the niche that you always want to be the best. You don't have to be, the generalist to do everything, like a mediocre, but however, the small niche you define, but if you define this niche is really, we call it, business and mission critical. If you have that kind of well-defined, niche, you'll be the first, at least I call, you can survive. You'll be in business, you'll be relevant, and then you can expand, right? And gradually, I saw, lots of the, young generation today, they, come from, much better school background. They're much more capable. They, have a very big ambition, but they want to do lots of, great stuff at the same time. And when I look at their business plan, I feel like you want to conquer the world, then that I think is probably something, very challenging. Even looking, early days of Google, did one thing extremely well. If nobody can compete, is the search relevancy at a scale. That's what they did, right? even today they're still dominating. So this is where I learned and I experienced that, we, define, find, the niche, excuse me, and then we did extremely well, right? In companies, like I said, the large, small, once they saw the results, they don't want you to, they don't want, let you go, right? They say how we can scale it, how we can actually, build this into our, ecosystem, become like a core engine, right? To
Mhm.
deliver, that incremental results. So,
Nice. Very nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So,
thank you, Michael.
everybody in business has had challenges. So, do me a
Mhm.
favor, share with me the biggest challenge you had to overcome in your career.
I think that the two things actually personally I found the number one from my perspective, the challenges is actually talent retention. Early days I made quite a bit of mistakes, but now spending the
Everybody
time
does.
exactly, especially the core, right? So and now I spent last 6 7 years really build this support team. That's why I said, I couldn't be more proud, the team I built today. But early days, I run around and it's just, put so much effort. Sometimes I didn't even know why people leaving, right? And I don't feel like it's because of the money or, I feel the reason people left because, they feel like, how actually they see this company become I call it this the extended family, meaning they feel you know um, to some extent if you're looking especially if you're looking the young generation, I totally related my personal experience. Some of them came from international background. They worry so much about like like I said early days the visas, the green cards in so they make sure they feel certain uh type of a safety, right? And yeah, I think I learned the hard way, so I lost quite a few really top talents. I want to actually build a core team. Yeah, that's kind of the number one. The number two, actually, I call we are the victim of our own success, meaning 100% of business came from referrals. So meaning we did great work. So when the current client move on to some other company after a few months, maybe a year, they always call us. Basically say, hey, we want to do the same thing you did, in the previous company. Um, that's very good, meaning that you get validated, you have a proof, track record, people believe you, trust you. The downside is you don't have the system to grow at the scale. This is where I starting now basically say we need to build a whole new team, the business team, the sales team, the customer success team, development team, right? So like I said, my background is more in the engineering, so my passion is so much on the problem solving, product building, and relationship building. But now I feel like, hey, we have a team, and now we need to really build a scalable business. So these are the two
Right.
things. Yeah, again, I just shared my own experience.
Yeah, it's a great experience. You got a great story. Appreciate it. Sounds like
Thank
things
you.
are going really well for you in your business, and looking forward to the future. Wondering how you turn your income into like passive income, and and if you have any investments that you in your
Yeah,
plans.
I think you're right. And obviously, yeah, I put quite a bit of a portfolio into different areas. Real estate is obviously one. My wife
Diversity.
actually, yeah, diversity, yeah, put so much effort. So she's actually has her own license as a realtor in Boston and also in Florida. And so we have
Nice.
a few second homes across the country, especially in Naples, and we have a few already. Even we've been here for only 3 years, but both my wife and I bet pretty big on Naples, but I don't want to advertise for Naples. It's just my again personal feeling, and
Nice.
obviously yeah, I'm so much into traditional equity market, stocks, and also because of my data background in early days, I was a true believer of a crypto. So I involved, yeah, in, crypto blockchain technology also. Yeah, some of, early days in Bitcoin in Israel and Ethereum.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Mm,
You've given a lot of value. You're worried about that at the beginning. You've done more than you should have. I appreciate it. So
thank you.
now that we're gonna get close into the wrapping up part of it in the interview, and wondering what your plans are for the next 6 to 12 months with your company. What is your vision for the company?
Yeah, think of my vision. Very good question. I want basically we have this, like I said, the core team. We have pretty much consensus on the same page. We will packaging all the past success and experience into a product. So we have all of the this prepackaged, highly customized solution for lots of the large companies. We're thinking we can make this product democratize lots of the technology and serve to mass, medium-sized market. And that's pretty much our, kind of core focus in the next 3 to 5 years. So we're going to
Nice.
build really AI-driven. Yeah, serving companies like accounting, sales,
Hmm.
operations, supply chains, and all of those. I feel like a medium-sized companies they have the needs, they have the business user case, but they just don't have the know-how and the capabilities and people. So that's how I feel like we should really put this technology solution serve to broader market in the future.
Nice. Very, yeah. There's a lot of opportunity out there, isn't there?
Hmm.
Yeah. Hey, listen, thank you very much. We do appreciate it for your time today and sharing all your insights and tips with us. We really do appreciate that. And if you could do me a favor and just let people in the, our listeners, how to get in contact with you, like your name,
Okay.
email, or phone
Yep.
number, if you'd like to give
Uh,
that.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. My company email is a P. My last name is CHU at focuskpi.com. My phone number 978-223-8629.
Awesome. Hey, listen, thank you very much. We appreciate all your time today. And thanks for we call them dropping bombs, giving all that wisdom to the younger generation that's going to be trying to do what we're doing.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me.
Thank you. All right. You have a wonderful day. And for all the listeners, if you guys have any questions, please contact me or Peter. And you have my information on the website. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.